What up, though, y'all? It's Chris. Appreciate you connecting with me while I'm out here getting my 10,000 steps in. I'm actually about to have a seat and kick it with y'all for a second. DDG situation has went bad for him. Let's talk about it. His baby mama, Little Mermaid, she has filed and gotten a temporary protective order against him. And this is really lame to me. I think that this is just her trying to make his life difficult. I think this is her trying to use his son as a weapon against him. And I'll go into why, because I'm sure you guys are going to want to know that. Well, why would you say that, Chris? Why would you think that? All right, let's go back a little bit. First off, a protective order against him, it's considerably easier to get one of those than it is a full-blown restraining order. You don't really have to prove anything. You can just kind of be like, oh, he did this to me, he did that to me. There's not really a burden of proof. So it's very easy to get that granted. She claimed that he abused her. She showed some pictures with bruises on her arms that we have no idea where those came from. She showed a picture of her tooth being chipped, claiming he did that to her. Yet we've seen videos of her before the altercation that she's talking about. And this is her own timeline. So this isn't me just like filling in gaps. Everything that I'm saying here is based on stuff that she's provided by her being a public figure. So based on the time that she alleges he hit her head against the car or whatever and caused her tooth to be chipped, there's video of her where she still has that same chipped tooth. So how did you get that from that situation when you had it already? So there's that. I was about to say, I really don't want to call her a liar, but it's just really not looking like she being honest here. But I guess that would be the same thing, right? Being dishonest is being a liar. I was just trying not to be harsh. Like, it's just really looking like lying hours here. Also, square this with me. Now follow me. There are several videos, all right? I've seen them. There are quite a few. I've seen a good 4 videos of her laughing about how toxic she is. Laughing about how she's all smiley and stuff, but you guys don't really know how she is in her private life. She's very toxic. And she was thinking this stuff was funny. They always do, right? So she's laughing and stuff, talking about how toxic she are. A couple of the videos had her sister in it. Her sister's like laughing about it too, because her sister's probably endured some of that toxic behavior, the sibling version of it. And then you have a bunch of videos as well of her singing DDG's praises. How wonderful he is, what a loving father he is, what an amazing dad that he is, how present he is, how supportive he is, how she couldn't have had a baby with a better person. All right, y'all following me? So square that with the person that she's now trying to paint him out to be. I'm just saying. You go from, he's so amazing, he's such a great father, he's such a supportive boyfriend, he's so present. You can't believe what an amazing father he is because he's so present. And we've seen this because there's no shortage of pictures and clips and stuff of DDG with his son. And I remember this one I saw, he was sitting down talking about how he was a father now. And he was tearing up. Like, man, I can't believe I'm a father now. That's crazy. All right, so you got that, right? We've laid that part out there. How do we go from that to a temporary, full or sole custody order for him, and DDG can only see his kid for 6 hours a week supervised? How does that man that she described now need supervised visits with his kid? Come on now. He is not going to hurt his son. I don't think he's going to hurt her. I don't think he has been hurting her. I think that if I could keep it a buck with y'all, do I believe that they've had some toxic back and forths? Sure, possibly. The thing that y'all don't be wanting to accept, and I kind of hate this, that people act like this. They act like real life ain't real. People in relationships bicker. Sometimes they press each other's buttons. You know, sometimes they get on each other's nerves. Sometimes things will get a little physical. You push me, I push you. I mean, it happens far more often than people out there want to admit. You have people that are in full-blown abusive relationships. You hit him, he hits you, and then y'all have some crazy wild makeup sex or whatever afterwards. You got people like that acting like they don't get it. And I can't stand when grown-ass people act like they don't understand anything. All right? I can't stand it. I hate it when grown-ass people act like they don't understand real life. Relationships ain't perfect. They have issues. You got two young, immature-ass people trying to figure out this whole co-parenting thing. There's going to be bumps in the road. But instead of running to the police, y'all should figure that stuff out. Instead of trying to use the man's son as a pawn because he moved on or because he's not responding to things quite the way you like. You know, she seemed like a toxic ass baby mama, for real. She seemed like super fucking toxic. Like, just the fact that she's sitting up here perping like this man chipped her tooth. I mean, you lying in our faces. We all saw you had the chipped tooth before the situation you talking about you got it from. You know, so yeah, she seemed like a full-on toxic baby mama. And she sees how enamored he is with his son. She sees that he absolutely loves being a dad to Halo. And it's hard being a man for that very reason, because the very things that you love end up being your weak point to be exploited. And it's really awful when the person exploiting those weak points is the woman of the child. Because how can you? She's always going to win because she's always going to look more sympathetic. And don't think for a second that she's not aware of the fact that she has the upper hand when it comes to her accusing him of some shit. She's fully aware of it. That's why she's doing this. You know, so she went, the guy who she was glowing over, she went and filed a temporary protective order against, which I'm assuming the next step is going to be just to get a full-blown restraining order. She's trying to get full sole custody of him, which the temporary protective order is definitely going to help with that. It's all just a play. My man getting a bad deal. I'm not saying my man is innocent. I'm not saying that he ain't ever, done some toxic stuff in this relationship. I'm saying he's not some devil and her some angel. That's pretty much it. She is very clearly and obviously using this man's son as a weapon, which is absolutely deplorable. And the thing is that a lot of these bitter ass exes, what they don't get is that the kids ain't gonna be kids forever. Them kids are gonna grow up They gonna see this footprint in public that y'all left. Halo one day gonna see how his mama was moving against his daddy. And he's not gonna like that very much. You know, so I think they should have just tried to figure this shit out. You know, the thing is that you got two young people that, you know, kind of have success and fame, might be used to getting their way a bit, and neither wants to bend to the other. What's her name? Halle Bailey, however you pronounce it. You know, I don't know. I don't know if it's Holly or Haley. I've heard it both freaking ways. So if I'm pronouncing it wrong, you know, excuse me, man, because I don't ever hear anybody just say it definitively. It's always one or the other. But ultimately, I hope he fights this with every breath. I hope he fights this till his dying breath. That is the only way that you can stomp out something like this. When you got a bitter ex, some bitter baby mama that's playing this game here of trying to take your son away from you, you gotta buckle in and fight it with every fiber of your being. Because the thing is, if you don't, later on, down the line, when you've missed birthdays, when you've missed Christmases, when you've missed Easters, the question is going to be posed to you, why didn't you fight harder to see your child? When in fact, the real question should have been, why did you have to fight at all to see your child? I'm gonna leave it there. Hit me with a like if you like what I do. Hit me with a sub if you like what I do. Hit me in them comments. I'll holler at y'all soon. Peace.